welcome you to our Torah class. And we hope you might be able to keep along with us this morning. Our study is not going to be too long, but we're asking you to write down with a pen or pencil, piece of paper, write down these words because we're going to be dealing with these Hebrew words this morning. And the first one is pasuk, P-A-S-U-K, slash, another word, perek, P-E-R-E-K, slash, another word, sefer, S-E-F-E-R. Another word, slash, words is concepts. Just put the word concepts there because we're going to talk about Hebrew concepts in words. And then again, slash, write down D-O-R, door, and slash, one more word, D-A-R, dar. So you have pasuk, perek, sefer, concepts, door, and dar. Now the Hebrew, in Hebrew, the Hebrew word door, D-O-R, with the Hebrew letters, they are dalet, vav, and rish. Those three words. And in the Torah, it's used at least 167 times in the Hebrew Bible. And it's usually translated as the word for generation. Dor is the word for generation. And while the word door and the English word generation are very similar in meaning, okay, English, Hebrew, door, generation, very similar. Yet it is important for you, especially you that are going to be a Torah teacher, scholar, for teachers to understand the difference. The difference is there. And you need to understand this in order to have a clear picture. What kind of a picture? The picture of the author, the person that wrote this wants us to understand. So the author's understanding of this word door or generations, because it may impact how a particular passage is understood. Now, last night in my message, Shabbat message, I read in the scriptures in Bereshit where the people stood before Moses through how long? Through the day and night, one day. And so we talk about how to rightly divide the word of truth. And as to what these words really meant, the people stood before Moses, and Moses was judging them. And it says there that they stood before Moses, throughout the day and throughout the night. So what was to be learned in that scripture about a judge? Because he was now judging, right? When I speak about a judge, we're speaking about any judge. So what is it that we learn about the scripture? Well, we're going to learn it kind of in a little different way this morning, because a generation is the time from one's birth to the birth of the next generation. So while the word door, dalit, vav, and rish, has this meaning, there are some differences, again, between the Hebrew understanding of this word and the English understanding. The Western world speaks. The English that the Western world speaks is actually Greek, Roman culture. That's the language that the Western world speaks. So we see in the Western world, we see time as the timeline is kind of a straight line, a timeline with a beginning and there's an end of the timeline. That's why we call it timeline, because there's a time it begins and then there's a time that it ends. So we're talking about this word door or generations, again, in the English, because again, we speak the Greek Roman kind of minds thinking, not the Eastern kind of thinking. especially in the Middle East. Their thinking is not as the Western mind thinking. They still live in the East, so they're going to be mindset of the Eastern way of thinking. And if you come from a Hebraic biblical way of thinking, even more so, you don't have a Greek Roman mindset of thinking. It's more of a Hebraic biblical way of thinking. So while we may see a generation as a timeline with a beginning and an end, the Hebrew saw or sees a generation as one cycle, like a circle. Does not aligned beginning and ending here. It's a circle with the next generation as a continuing of the circle. Okay, so there is no beginning in a circle, right? And there's no end. Okay, so the word door, Dalet Vav Rish, actually that word is a child root word. It's a child root word that is derived from the parent root dar, the one I gave a D-A-R, which in the ancient pictographic script, it was written with the first letter as a picture of a tent, or of a door. Let's say it's a door, because we understand more in modern times. Are you following this far? Yeah. So it's a picture of a door, and it has the meaning of a door that goes in and out, right? In and out. Okay. So the second letter is the head of a man, meaning the head of a man, meaning man. So let's see if we can figure something out here. First, the first letter is what? The picture of a door. And what is the door doing? In and out. The second letter is a letter of the head of a man, the head of a man. Okay, when you combine these two pictures, what meaning do you get now? Anyone here? The move, what? You combine these two, you have what? A door that goes in and out, and you have the head of a man. What do you think this means? You that are watching as well. Yes.
Like to enter in.
Enter in and enter out. Anyone else? What we're seeing here is the movement of man. The movement of man. In Hebrew, a generation is the movement. The movement through the cycle of in and out. One generation coming what? In, and another older generation going out. So that, I hope, has been made clear here. Now, in the ancient Hebrew mind, a circle represents order. And I want you to know there's the Hebrew word door is the English word order. And this circular order can also be seen in the creation and destruction. There's creation and there's destruction of the world. In our Grego mindset or mind, we see the creation as the beginning of time, of a timeline, and here that's being created, and in the end it is destroyed. But I want you to remember the ancient Hebrew saw what time as what, right? In Hebrew it says, in a beginning. There's a beginning. So the Hebrew word Bereshit or Genesis means a beginning, not the beginning. A beginning, not the beginning. So the world was destroyed. Okay, how was the world destroyed? Okay, so there was a beginning, and God brought man in the beginning. And how was it destroyed? The world was destroyed by sin. So there was a fall. Mm-hmm. And so in Hebrew, you would never say it was